to risk his life to take cash to a thug that smuggled in a couple of cases of penicillin so at least one of his civilians could survive, forcing him to choose. You're sad. This is sad. Breaks my heart. Poor little kids. Little 14-year-old girls, little 10-year-old kids, all dying of a lousy flu. A flu. NyQuil would have saved a life. But you Americans, you liked it a lot. You're retaliating for something that happened 80 years ago. The Iraqis, and my people, had nothing to do with, really. Something Hitler did in retaliation to commit more acts of genocide than any other human being known to man. Anyhow, let's not go there. Rest all those kids. They have not died in vain. They never occur again. Which leads me to another incident, and to tell you a little more about the medical care in prisons, at least for a Middle Eastern man in prison through this time. Poor kids. Here I am at another facility. I'm finally taken off that allergic medication. I'm finally given a TV after 15 months straight. No TV, no radio. Spending months locked in a cell 24 hours a day, 8 by 8. Treated worse than a dog, right here in America, right here in California. No blame in Egypt, no blame in Tsunami, no blame in Libya or Gaddafi. Right here, blame the Bushes, blame the Clintons, blame the Obamas. Here I am, taking off medication, a little relief of that particular. Now in a high-profile lifers, people with nothing to lose, death row inmates, a man that will kill for a pack of cigarettes like it's nothing. And the only way to get that is something with through a cop, an official, which is using me and my people, or Middle Eastern, as initiation pieces so they could be trusted, and so the officials could risk their lives to bring tobacco and other drugs and what have you not to these individuals, which turn out to be hypocrites. Say something and do something else is always the definition of hypocrisy and hypocrites. Where would we be without America? Where would the world be? Make you wonder, huh? Where would the world be? Happy? Who knows? Free, peaceful. Well, here I am here now. I happen to catch a flu. After begging to be seen, which takes weeks at a time, which is a lot quicker than it would be if you think you suffered a concussion. It took me 8 months to get an MRI of my mind after complaining of suffering concussion. Just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, 8 months. And they came back laughing. See, you're lying the whole time. Your MRI came out right. You're perfectly fine. 8 months later, no kidding. 8 months later, you wanted that MRI to show what happened to me 8 months prior. Lord behold, you don't even see these fractures on top of my head through your MRI machine. So you say. I clearly had a fracture. I clearly was stitched up. I clearly almost died in the hospital. And yet you're saying there's no fractures on top of my head. You clearly see a scar, and like you're looking at me and telling me you never even suffered this. There must be scratches. No kidding. Only in America. You know what gets me? What gets me motivation? Other countries, hey, yeah, sure, they'll hang you, they'll whip you, but they're not going to lie about it. In fact, they'll tell everybody, look, this is what happens if you do this, and they'll kill you right in front of people. Here in America, they'll kill you, rape you, torture you. Say, we didn't do nothing. He's a damn liar. What is the point of doing it? Please tell me. If I'm going to do something, it's going to be to make a point. Then again, the man that commits the most acts of hypocrisy wins in America. The most sadistic criminals, in fact, will be represented by your tax-paying dollars and by your executioner. The most sadistic of criminals, one that wears a badge, tells a kid, hey, you could tell me when you're on your period, you could tell me when you masturbate, and yet turns around, uses it against them, rapes them, and tortures them. He will get represented by your attorney general, by your tax-paying dollars, only in America. You tell another country that, hey, the executioner in America will turn around and only represent the most sadistic of criminals and lie for them in the court of law under oath, but yet turn around and kill somebody that only killed one person, but will represent somebody that killed 100, knowingly with the evidence against them. They'll go into shock. Maybe that's why I'm making this too, by the way. Unbelievable, huh? All true, only in America. And the only reason why you cannot say I'm trying to start government unrest or anarchy, because it's not propaganda. It's not like telling a country we're going to bring you democracy, but literally go there instead and just want to kill one individual, you know. What's 1 million soldiers wanting to kill one person, not wanting to come back without killing a single human life? Who knew? Who knew hypocrisy would make it this far, in fact? Who knew? Did Hitler? I'm really getting sickened here. The truth hurts, it really does. That's one thing that's never been to be lied about. The truth will always hurt. And America hurts 20 times worse. The functional appearance that is frowned upon, and what you have to fight to be a little free in America. To be able to let your government use you as a functional appearance of freedom, you have to be the ultimate hypocrite. Why? I'd rather represent, I'd rather help, I'd rather give freedom to the man that's least Hippocratic. Even if he's a criminal. But he's not a Hippocratic criminal. He's true to what he is. He's not going to... Somebody that's true to whatever you are. You're a singer, you're true. You're writing, you're doing... You deserve to win. You're a racer, you're true. You win the race, you deserve to win. Not the hypocrite that pretends or blames this man for doing this and doing that, when he does something 20 times more worse to win. But only in America. Where would we be without America? Hypocrisy, in fact, has never been tried throughout time. This is truly history-making. America. One thing you get to be known for. In God's eyes. He's still in shock. And trust me, I've had so many near-death experiences. I've talked to the individual. Which back to my flu. I caught a flu. Doctor said, okay, you have flu. I'm coughing up bronchitis. I'm waking up in the middle of the night, literally coughing up mucus puddles like I'm drowning. Doctor supposedly orders me medication. I begged the nurse, where's my medication? Where's my amoxicillin? Nope. There's no order for it. Waking up in the middle of the night, turning my head just to breathe, coughing up all this mucus, literally drowning. Fevering, melting, literally dying, which brought the thought of all those little boys and girls that died of the flu in modern day time due to illegal sanctions brought on by America. They're highly so illegal that every member of your Congress, every member of your government can be executed for these war crimes. Knowingly killing one civilian in any fashion, either by denying medical care or by blowing him up or shooting him, is against international and Geneva conventional laws. It is punishable by execution in the country the crime is committed and trial. But we're in America, huh? The untouchable war crime. A country that will cry about genocide 80 years later. and yet commit a bigger act than the most acts in the last 2 decades of genocide. Last 2 centuries, in fact, of genocide. A country that's the only country that ever used napalm on civilians, next to Israel. A country that's the only country to ever commit nuclear genocide, kill over 100,000 civilians, just like that. Besides Israel. A country that, hey, cried about Saddam, wanted him executed because he poisoned one little lake, but yet poisoned the whole country's water supply by denying them chlorine, by denying them antibacterial agents. Wow. I shocked myself sometimes. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot for me to hear too. You know, but when you got time, you got no TV, you got no radio to watch you or send, you know, to amplify the frequency your government sends out. That makes you feel vigilantic without even knowing why. A signal, a subliminal signal, literally, that gets you to buy food, not even knowing why, not even being able to hear it. And you're stuck in a little cemented wall, and your own government don't want you to have walkie-talkies to communicate without light. Wow. It scrambles your signals, all signals. You start to think, and even a retard, he could solve problems that Einstein himself could never solve in this world. He could solve. I've solved so many equations that I never thought a million worlds, a million years would ever discover. And yet I have a crushed temple. I suffered concussion after concussion. In pain. Fighting to get a Tylenol, literally. Having to risk my life for a single Tylenol. To purchase one. Only in America. And don't you ever forget that, Americans. Only in America. I mean, come on. Why don't you use me as an example? Why are you constantly saying I'm lying? Constantly. Why are you paying tax-paying dollars to represent and literally lie under oath for such a cowardly, Hippocratic, sadistic criminals? Unless you're trying to tell me, look, you got to be good at what you are. The best will always win in America, even if you're a raper, a child molester, or war criminal. You will stay free. We'll help you stay free. But your peons that don't have, you know, that accidentally did something in retaliation, or that was forced to do a crime, to commit a crime, you do life. You get to die in prison. You get to die for stealing a pack of cigarettes. As I met an individual in prison. He went and stole a pack of cigarettes for his girlfriend, and he was doing life. Yes, another man. He was alleged, a prostitute alleged him for slapping her. One little slapping, he's doing life to a prostitute. Only in America. Yet you cry about Saddam chopping off arms of child molesters, and you make it sound bad. But you keep forgetting, okay, Saddam, sure, he chopped the arms off of child molesters. Sure. I'd love for him to do that right here in America. Sure, he killed homosexuals because he didn't have the medication to worry about them. Why should he give it to a homosexual that's ultimate liar? I'm one of the liars. I mean, he's going to lie to everything. And instead of giving it to a 12-year-old little girl sick of the flu, why give it to him? When he got to risk his life, literally going meeting up underground with cash, millions of dollars of cash, to purchase some medication for his thing. And I'll tell you what, your government, no Obama, you will never see him grab no millions of dollars of cash and go meet a thug to get some medication smuggled into his country to save you. I swear this, even though America's never been tested at that level. God forbid it ever does and has to be. But I doubt it. I really doubt it. One man wants to rule the world. He better care about all civilians, protecting all civilians, not just his own. Because what is your own, especially in a country like America? Ooh. Back to my story. Long story short, I coughed up from flu. Woke up middle of the night, almost dead. Brought back memories and thought to myself, this must be how those children felt before they died of the flu. They were dying of malaria in Iraq. Not brought on by God, but brought on by America. Famine brought on by America. Yet a country that cries about famine brought on by God in Kenya and Somalia. And Arabs going over there and stopping a famine by killing them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I feel sorry for those people, but anybody that doesn't have enough water to drink for themselves and yet is willing to bring in a child into the world, knowing it's only going to live at the most for a year and die a painful and horrible death. No offense, but those Arabs are really not that bad of a people. I'm not even Arab. How you like me now? Long story short, this man stayed in prison for 10 years. 10 years, and when that time was up, they gave him 2 more months. They took him into the office. They said, we're going to strike you out, make sure DA. Even though the officers would make up charges. They shot this man laying face down on the floor with a .223 still lodged in the foot. But Lord behold, even though there's a scar and the pain lasted for months in, the x-ray comes out showing negative. The ones took it in the prison system. Not a damn bullet, even though I showed them with pure eyes. Here's a scar. Here's where it is. Make a man think somebody rushed him while he was asleep and stabbed him in the leg and made it look like a gunshot wound or stuck a little bug or a tracker in him. Who knows? A man that literally, if he wasn't, even with the slip disc, even with the punctured lung, in one incident, an officer slams him down as he yelled to everybody, look, he has 1 year left. I have 1 year left. I didn't want no more time. I'm not even supposed to be in prison. My lawyers literally fought to keep me in prison. My appeal attorney, in fact, she literally plagiarized my opening brief saying a man, the witness, got on stand, gave a description of a man describing me sitting next to a shooter at the scene of crime. No witness ever came close to saying that. No description ever matched me. And in fact, that witness that she referring to says he didn't see the person in the courtroom or a picture lineup, and it was not me. And as I wrote the DA saying I want to press charges for perjury, I wrote the courts over and over, please let me have a new attorney. This lady is lying. This is not in the transcripts. Here are the transcripts. I sent them abundance of evidence. They refused to give me another attorney. So that costed me another 6 years. That's America, ladies and gentlemen. All in America. Long story short, once again, now at a 180, get tortured, almost dying of a cold, get a lump under the arm, a boil. Please look at this boil. No, refuse treatment. Refuse treatment, gets infected. I go in, oh, we'll see you in a few days. No, I can't move. It's underneath my heart. Lord behold, I have to put in a sick call slip, as they're called, and tell the nurse, make up a whole excuse to be seen. Because the doctor at the time would not see me. She supposedly quit alongside of other doctors, but I'm not to buy it. She still probably has her license and still practicing. Sickening person. A nurse rushes in there and says, hey, you got to see this man now. No, I do not want to see him. You got to see him now. Unfortunately, that infection, that boil, turned into MRSA. It turned into MRSA because they refused to see me. Refused to give me God's path to change me. And now I was quarantined, took it in for surgery. During surgery, a 10-minute procedure took 20 minutes. They said I'm lucky to be alive because it's so close to my heart. As I left that 3 days later, the hospital, I was also once again had my life attempted on. I was slammed to the ground, had a hand wrapped around my throat, and a knee on my gut to take all the air out, and strangling in the parking lot. Lord behold, they refused to give me a video, and they refused to zoom in on the video. It's from a distance, but there was definitely video. The only reason why he did not kill me, which he was going to blame on asphyxiation of claustrophobia, he's going to call prison my death that, was because a child and a man holding on to his child in the parking lot watched the whole thing. And as he said, I told you were going to get in that van one way or the other. He looks up and spots him. He eases off. And you may ask yourself, why am I telling you guys all this? This happens all the time. Sure, to the Middle Eastern, well, chances are more greater than ever. And chances are it did. To a lot of other fools, they're just talk. A lot of people are friends with these officials. These officials will pretend they did something to them. In fact, that's how good. I mean, it's either favors for ratting, favors for taking out a person for them, favors for selling drugs for them, cell phones, what have you not. I mean, it's a hypocrisy. Your government will protect them. Your Attorney General, your great Attorney General, will be the ones most definitely using your taxpaying dollars to represent and lie for them. Same people that turn around and give people the death penalty because they were not sadistic enough. Because they only did a minor crime. But if they did way worse, lied a lot more, they'd be represented in America. Only in America, by the way, once again, only in America. Don't get other countries mixed up. Do not start a revolution in another country and pretend things are happening there like you like to do, America. Well, I survived that thanks to that kid. And wherever you are, kid, at UC Davis, man, if you could back up this story, go ahead and set a comment. You know who you are. Well, I was also once again written up. This time I was refusing, supposedly. Refusing orders, they said. Well, video, if you zoomed in with technology today, the average man could zoom in. Clearly shows hand wrapped around the throat and trying to strangle him. Nothing take place. But no, he said he put his hand on my chest and his knee on my belly. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Like I was saying, you wonder why I'm telling you all this. The horror, you hear about it every once in a while here and there. Well, for one, make sure everybody knows. This took place right here in America, U.S. of A., and in California, and would take place nowhere else in USA. You see spies on TV in Iran crying about having to go on a hunger strike to get mail from your government. Mail from your government that could possibly have a micro dot or micro message or some cyanide on a paper where you dip in water and put on a dart and kill somebody. God forbid have to go on a hunger strike. This man took beatings, hunger strikes, and still didn't get mail. Still didn't get mail off. So that's just one of the reasons why I'm telling you this. And I am not a spy. Heck, everybody I knew turned out to be way back. Sure, a lot of blame, took to drugs, trying to cope with their cowardice, or what we call accomplish. Some call them Ocampos, some call them, fighting to survive, doing anything they can to survive. And of course, with the war going on, your government helps certain drug dealers make sure some people are happy and striking deals with them to keep them free. You provide drugs to these people and you let them do the washing. Well, I have family members or so. 3 cousins, you know who you are. It starts with T and A and B and, even a sister. It's amazing what your government does psychologically. Torture men in prison and out when they're at war with your people. You're committing genocide and trying to kind of keep it, but trying to make sure people that can actually do something about it or actually know law don't know. So, as I was saying, I'm father, by the way. Of course, I tried, I thought about, hey, let me just kill at least one of these officers. I will be respected in prison. My soul will respect me a little more instead of taking all these beatings and doing nothing about it, all this torture, and still listening to them say, we're going to strike you out, even when I'm not even doing a crime. Being told by a captain, next time you do one more thing, I'm going to make sure DA picks it up. You're struck it out, you're staying in prison. You know what that feels like for an innocent man that's not even supposed to be in prison according to law, or legally, or by logic? Being told now he's going to stay there for the rest of his life. It's already been 6 years of hell. At this particular time, I was told that 7 years. Excuse me. It's quite a mind-altering psychological fuck, I just like to say. But once again, we're in America. It's the land of the free, huh? Man, only sadistic win in America. One that lies the best. That's one way of keeping the government secret, though. Good liar, keep a lot of good secrets going. Get a lot of favors too, by the way. Don't be fooled by that drug dealer that's so stupid, but yet never seen a day in prison after all these years. Don't be fooled. A stupid man that steals drugs and never goes to prison. He's definitely getting some favors. Definitely telling on some people too, by the way. Anyhow, not my business, never been in the business of drugs. Not much. The occasional marijuana I sold way back when in college, trying to get to college. Hey, it's marijuana, it's legal now, huh? Anyhow, this man, he files complaints. You have a 4-year statute. 1983 civil action brought on by a prisoner. USC 42. You have 4 years to file. If you're free and you file against an agency or agent member, you have 2 years. If you're going to file in federal courts. If you're going to file a tort, you got 1 year, up to 2 years if you're a prisoner. Long story short, I cannot let these guys go.